Why? What's happening, everybody? It's your boy. Yes, sir. We back. We back. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. I am he, your host, and we got another amazing, phenomenal, exceptional show. I've been waiting for a long time to do this podcast, and finally, our schedules connected. And man, it could not be at a better time. As a matter of fact, God is so good that the schedules connected right during the Women Appreciation Month. And
Yeah.
I am absolutely overblown to let you guys meet this incredible young lady. So before we do this, though, remember it's Women Appreciation Month. And all month we've been celebrating women. No, I didn't do the mothers this time, but this time I wanted to do some exceptional women from across the country that's doing amazing things on their different platforms and in their profession and in their businesses. And today is no exception. This young lady is amazing. So we're going to get to that in a second, but you guys know how we do it, man. Germany, how you guys doing? South Africa, what it do? Belgium, how y'all doing? But y'all know I gotta shout out North America, my Canadian family and friends. So listen, some of you guys may wonder why we always talk to our friends in different parts of the world because they need love too. We want to share the love with them as well. Say hello. They're calling in from all over the world. A lot of emails we get is from different parts of the world. So I want to shout everybody out. But of course, I got to also shout out Nola. What it do? That's where I was born, New Orleans, Louisiana. For those that don't know what Nola means, as a matter of fact, if you give me a test, somebody may have heard of something called Rita. If you know what Rita is, you know where we from. So, but anyway, shout out to everybody. What's good? What's good? Let me do these commercials because I want to really talk and dive into some loud, powerful things with this young lady. So please go and join, select, like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff on all of the social media platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, X, Instagram, and of course the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel, y'all see our faces, y'all see me cutting up with people. It just be a it's it's next level. Sometimes I get these crazy faces, but anyway, go to the YouTube and it's LET''S on YouTube. But go join, like, subscribe, share it with somebody else. And if you're driving right now, don't do this. But for everybody else that's not driving, go call, text, subscribe, do something to somebody. Let them know that Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette is rolling right now. And if you are a woman, if you are a young lady, if you are a grandmother, if you are a mother, or if you just somebody that want to get some powerful insight to one of the most successful attorneys that I know, this your podcast. If you don't want to know, you need to listen anyway, because every single time I talk to this young lady, man, I tell you, she dropped jewels on top of jewels. It is just jewels, humbled as they come. She's not gonna be flashy, so you won't see her, wearing all of these crazy. I ain't gonna go into that. Never mind. But when I share with you guys, the intellect is off the charts. She's smart. She's witty. She's actually. I don't see when you get your family and you don't want to say certain things because their head might explode. But she's a beautiful woman, both inside and out. But let me tell you guys something. She's one of the most powerful attorneys in the South. She does amazing work on the business front, but she's also a professor. Yes, she teaches the lawyers. So, when you got the teacher of the teachers, that's some amazing things. She's done everything from, of course, my alma mater. What it do? Southern University, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Shout out to the
That's
Jaguars.
right.
I'm sorry, I got excited. Y'all, let me calm down. But she also does some stuff at Purdue, and she went to the University of Florida. Listen, I'm not gonna go into her whole bio. It is extensive, but she is powerful. So y'all do me a favor and help welcome to the podcast for the first time my friend, my Southernite,
Yes,
all the way. Yes, yes, yes. My Jaguars are in the
that's
building. Shout
right.
out to all of the HBCUs, Miss Chandrea P. Williams. What's up, sis? How it do? What it
Thank
do?
you for inviting me. Oh my goodness. Yeah, like you said, this has been a long time coming. And I just appreciate the opportunity to be here. Your spirit is infectious. And so for me to be a part of this, it says a lot about who I am. So I'm so grateful that you invited me here, especially during this time when we're recognizing women, recognizing all women, but Black women for
Yes,
everything that
ma'am.
we've done. And so I appreciate being on this platform, giving my thoughts and just being here to talk. So let's talk.
Let's talk. Let's talk. Yeah, don't be attorneying on me now.
I'm
Don't.
not. Come on now. Well, listen, call me Treese.
Oh,
Because
okay.
we
Trees.
friends. Call me Treese. You don't call me?
Trees.
Let's
Okay.
talk, Treese. My middle name is Patrice. I'm named after my dad, Shan Patrick Williams Sr. So I'm Chandrea Patrice Williams. So my friends call me Treese. So you could say
Trees.
Professor Williams, Chandrea, or you could call me Treese.
Nah, Trees it is. Trees it is. I ain't gonna tell a story. Some of the stories I ain't gonna get into
No,
them.
no,
No,
no.
we public. I ain't getting into them stories.
Yeah.
But Trees, listen.
Okay.
We have done amazing things in HBCUs, especially at Southern. Some of the things I know a lot of people don't like to talk about is how the agricultural side has blossomed in the
Yes.
last few years. A lot of people don't want to talk about cannabis, but how that industry is literally exploding for a variety of different reasons. I'm not going to talk about that today, but what I want to do is because of all of the extensive work that you have done,
Mm-hmm.
from walking on as we say, walking on the yard for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
being a cheerleader. Talk to your boy. Who is Patrice? Who is Treese? Talk to your boy.
So I am someone who, and I got to say a little bit about this because it tells who I am. I actually started at Southern when I was 16 years old. So I was a baby walking the yard. And
Yeah.
Southern groomed me. My parents were graduates of Southern. It groomed me to see the importance of nature and nurture because,
Mm-hmm.
my nature is my family. I'm a William.
Right.
I saw hard work. I saw dedication. But my nurture was the people that I surrounded myself with that helped me to grow. And so who I am is that person who gives back. What I receive, I give back because I recognize that everybody doesn't have the nature and they don't have the nurture. So I chose now working at an HBCU so that I could be a part of that nurturing side of education. So don't get me wrong, I've worked at Florida, Mississippi, I've worked at, Arizona Summit, I've worked all over the country. And I
Mm-hmm.
still was that person, but the dynamics is different. At an
Yes.
HBCU, it's a family. And so the person that I am, I'm student centered, I'm student oriented, I'm nice, I'm kind, but I'm also someone who recognizes the importance of hard work. So who I
That's
am
right.
is what I instill. So who I am is hardworking, loving, caring. I will get into it, but I believe in the emotional intelligence just as much as my IQ. I'm
Keep
EQ,
going.
but
Mm-hmm.
I'm just nice and I'm good. And one thing, and I'll say this, and I know we'll keep going. A person can be all those things and still be real. I got common sense too now. And so that's important. And I'm my daddy's child. I say it all the time. I'm my daddy's child. I'm my
Mm-hmm.
mother's heart. And I'm Chandrea Patrice Williams. I'm Treese.
Treese, listen. You didn't took me to somewhere I got to bring this out as we're conversing because you understand the power of HBCU. Now I'm not trying to go deep into it, but
Mhm.
it's something I want to pull out and I'm gonna
Okay.
share a story.
Okay.
You started talking about how the yard groomed us,
Mhm.
right? How it allowed us to grow up. Tell us just a brief story, just one of them. I'll share one too about how HBCUs is different from a PWI in terms of that family piece. Can you share a little bit about that?
Well, for one, the size of the classrooms is much smaller. So that means the
Yes.
interaction between the professor and the student, to me, was more familiar and less and educational at the same time. So my professors knew my name. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a number. I wasn't a student of 300. I was a student of 25, a student of 30 maybe, and the professors knew my name. So that meant I developed a relationship. So that meant when I needed to write a personal statement or I needed to apply for an internship, that professor knew about me. So that letter was demonstrated more of, I know this person, not just that I'm doing it for this person. So
Yes.
that's what's different for me. My professors, and especially if they saw me outside of class, if I
Mm-hmm.
was acting a particular way, that professor would come up to me and say, wait a minute, what are you doing? Had
That's
nothing
right.
to do with my English lit class or my African studies class. It was, Chandrea, what are you doing? You are bigger than that. Because I was still a kid. I was 16 years old. I was 17
Mm-hmm.
years old. So they took interest in my life, not just in my educational life. So that's one thing that, well, two or three things that was different. But what was also important is because my parents went to Southern, I already knew what to expect. And some of those professors that were there with my parents were there with me. And they
Mm.
knew me based on my parents and who they were. And so I was able to develop a relationship that way too. And then finally, you from New Orleans, but I'm from Gretna. All right. So Gretna is from the
Oh,
west bank
don't
of New
start.
Orleans.
Don't start.
I'm
Just
from
don't start.
emancipated McDonoughville. I'm from Gretna. It's a difference.
Don't start.
All you
Don't
people
start.
in the world, look it up. It's a difference. And so, and so
Don't start.
because because I'm from that area,
Mm-hmm.
I was able to take that familial small town experience, not move too far, but still was able to be independent, but my parents could get to me like that. And
Yes.
so that was something that was also important to me, was that my family was able to come see me at football games, be a part of the HBCU football experience, to go to the
It is
Bayou
important.
Classic, as a cheerleader, and be there and see my cousins and my aunts and my uncles, cheering me on. So that was so important. And we weren't HBCUs, we really take pride in the togetherness
That's
of
right.
family and everything. Because everybody tailgate, don't get me wrong, but it's a different kind of tailgate when you go to an
It's different.
HBCU. It's different.
It's it's different.
And I can go up to somebody else's tent, somebody else's barbecue pit, and be welcomed. Whereas, when I was at other schools, at some of the PWIs, that was, you couldn't do that. Whether it
That's
was
right.
whether it was a person of color or not, they stuck in their silo. You couldn't just go around and people wasn't handing you water or handing you a alcoholic beverage if you were of age. And so that was for me. I appreciate it. You
I
notice
love the attorney part there. I caught that.
so, so I just loved it. Because let me say this, I wanted to go to the University of Georgia. I did.
Mm.
I researched it. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was an area I wanted to be in. I wanted to get away from home. And my
Right.
parents was like, oh, no, you're not. You going to Southern. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I went to Southern from
You
1987 to 1991. It was
mm-hmm.
amazing. It was the best experience. I'm so grateful for it.
Right.
And it formed me into the
Mm-hmm.
person that I am, to where I could be great and am great in any environment. And Southern gave me that confidence. It gave me the processes to be able to do it. It gave me the structure, and it gave me the understanding, because there was no such thing as Southern as you don't have to come to class. Like at the
Oh no.
PWI, some of them, there's no attendance. They don't take roll. You could
Oh,
come
they
the
take
last
roll.
day, take the exam, and you're out. At Southern, you had to be there, and you still do, because my goddaughter is a senior. She's from Arizona, and she, came from a different experience, and she loves it. So yeah, I love it. I could talk about Southern,
You
and now
know,
I'm a professor at the law school there, so I so enjoy it and I love it.
something you said that's interesting. I'm just this brief story is I remember it's so many different tentacles of stories at Southern, as you know. We can talk about this probably for the next 2 months and still have stories. But it's one I remember. I was playing baseball and I missed a class.
Hmm.
We were actually traveling to J State and I missed a class. And I forgot to tell the instructor,
Hmm.
the professor. I was like, hey, this the baseball schedule, yada, yada, yada. I got back. I picked up the phone. Back then you had the answering machine, so you could pick
Right.
up the phone and I listened and I'm not gonna say exactly how she said it, but she had
Right.
attitude and her neck was turning and twisting.
Yeah,
And she told me, "You better
that's
not be
right.
here Monday morning in my office at 8 o'clock."
That's right.
And I looked at the phone like, who this lady thinks she is?
But
The
that
next
that was
message,
care. That was care and concern for your well-being. And that's
deep.
the epitome of an HBCU and
Yep,
the epitome of Southern. It is.
that's exactly right. And long and short, I went to the to her office. Man, I
Mm,
was like, I didn't know if it was your mama, your grandmother, your
that's
aunt,
right. That's
or
right.
the ain't professor ain't came nowhere out of her mouth.
That's right.
And I mean, I got it. But I can say those stories all day.
Yeah,
And she was like, "You betting."
that's right.
I was like, and I'll never forget, I said, "Wait." I forgot the girl name, but does it say Bridget missed 3 classes? You not Bridget?
That's
You
right.
going somewhere?
That's
I
right.
wish you would. I was like,
That's right.
oh.
That's exactly right.
So, but anyway, we could talk about the yard all
Yeah.
day. I love it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love it.
yeah.
So, did you always want to be an attorney? Did you always want to
No,
go into law?
no. So no, just honest. I don't lie no more.
I don't want you to
We
lie.
no, we're gonna get into that too, what I mean by that. So growing up, of course, I started first grade at 4 instead of 6. So I was in kindergarten at 2 years old. My grandmother was the bus driver from the West Bank to the East Bank for Martinez Kindergarten. So I went to Martinez. And if
Okay.
anybody who's listened to this knows, Martinez was the best kindergarten in the country.
Hmm.
I mean, the Martinez's developed. This is before the world believed in children needing an education that young. So I never knew what I wanted to be. I just knew I didn't want to be a principal like my daddy because he knew too many kids' names and he was everybody's daddy. I didn't want to be a teacher like my mom because she knew every child's name and they loved her and she took care of them even outside. I didn't want to do that. But
Right.
my parents said you're either going to be a doctor, a lawyer, or you're getting your PhD. There's no question you're doing one of those things. So I had to evaluate it. PhD meant I probably was going to get into education. Didn't want to do that. MD, I'm not doing that long. I
Right.
look at the time. I'm saying, wait, no, blood. Not afraid of it, but
Right.
all of that. No, I'm not doing that. So I was going to be a lawyer.
Hmm.
That's it. And so my dad's frat brother, my dad's an Omega. I'm a Delta. My dad's frat
Shout
brother.
out to the Deltas.
That's right. That's right.
You
1913.
celebrating 30 years, right?
No, no, wait. Spring 90, baby. This is 2024. Count it up.
I'm
This is 34 years.
see, try to give you a shout out. Now you getting go ahead. Go ahead. Don't
Southern University, Alpha Tau, Spring 90, number 9, Jumping Jack Flash. That's me. That's me.
why did I even start with go? Come on.
So, 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 you ask a kid, what do you want to be? And you would have
Hmm.
to have an answer in the Williams household. You have to have an answer. So I want to be a lawyer.
Right.
So that was my answer. So I went to law school because my parents said, you're doing one of those 3 things, no questions asked. And so that's what I did. But I believe that if I would have said doctor, my parents would have said no lawyer because they knew me, because I had
Hmm.
conversations with my parents in a way that they could steer me and I trusted them.
Right.
So if I would have said PhD, they would have said no JD. And it's the best thing I've ever, the critical thinking skills, the way that my brain works, the way that I problem solve with anything and everything. It's the best thing ever happened to me. So I was born to be a lawyer.
Now that being said, I know your work and I know your the critical thinking,
Mhm,
and I want to get to this emotional intelligence piece. But that
mhm.
being said, how did you climb the ladder? I mean, we're not talking about you just, a professor at these boo-boo schools.
Mhm.
We ain't talking about somebody that's an online school. No
Don't talk
disrespect to
about
online
online because
schools.
I teach at a good online school now, but I'll go over that
That's
too.
well, that's
Again.
what I said. No
Mhm.
disrespect to the online schools,
Right,
but you go into some of these prestigious
right,
universities.
right.
So how did you climb the ladder? How did you do
Well,
that?
so when I graduated from law school, I was 23. And I'm saying my age because people have to understand the importance of hard work.
Mhm.
Because this day, we're sometimes we're allowing people to just be mediocre. mediocrity is winning, and we got to
Yes.
get back to hard work. And so at 23, I was graduating from law school. I had no
Hmm.
clue what I wanted to do. I had practiced, I'd done everything. I'd worked with the legislature, I'd worked in criminal law, I'd done contract work, I'd been a professor with street law, where we would go to the high schools and teach the kids. So I had different aspects of the law, but I didn't know
Right.
what I wanted to do. Well, the dean of my law school, God rest his soul, Dean Lewis Westerfield, he was the first African American dean at the University of Mississippi, and then at Loyola, he was my dean. My LSAT score was shot to crap. I
Hmm.
was not a good standardized test taker. So he actually admitted me to law school just because he went to high school with my daddy. And he had
Right.
5 people he could admit. And when he admitted me, he said, "You're going to give back because I know you're going to be successful." So when I
Hmm.
graduated from law school, my first job was as his associate dean, as well as a professor with him at the University of Mississippi. That was my first job. And when he passed away, that's when I went to the University of Florida. So he
Okay.
groomed me. So it was my hard work, but it was also being in the right place at the right time and knowing the right person. So when people
Yes.
ask me how to be successful, I say to them, you got to know the right people. But when they put you in the right position, you got to know how to do the right work. So
You
I
got to
was prepared.
perform.
So I didn't embarrass him. I was prepared for it. I wrote his speeches, so I was a good writer. I, of course, was a prolific speaker because he always put me in places where I had to speak in front of people. Plus, again, my dad's an amazing speaker and speechwriter. So I had it also through my nurture. I knew
Yes.
how, in my nature, I'm sorry, I knew how to write and those things from my dad and my mom. So I just took all of those skills, I advanced them. And so I was able to know how to do the right CV, go into the interview and know how to speak the right way. And when I say speak the right way, I don't mean subject verb agreement. I mean know about who you're going to work for. I did the
That's right.
research. So you would have thought I went to the University of Florida when I applied to the University of Florida. I knew
Hmm.
everything about them. I knew what I could bring to them as well as what they could bring to me. So that's why my success is the way it is because I prepared for success and I spoke success and I see success and I don't see mediocrity. So I'm never going to be mediocre. I'm going to always be great because I've chosen greatness in my life as I
Ooh,
drank my
ooh.
Pellegrino.
Yeah, I see you.
Because I'm a jokester too now. I'm like, no, I
See
have
this?
fun.
See this? See when you get these, you see when you get these wealthy attorneys on, boy, I tell you, they get Pellegrinos and they be
Nah,
got their
nah,
little
come on
finger
now.
up and be whooping on the stage. Like, come on now, see, just boy, I tell you what,
I'm gonna do like my goddaughter and my niece do. Mhm,
I
mhm.
see you, I see you. Y'all got to look at the YouTube channel. Y'all gonna miss some. But wait, Tree. So I do want to
Okay.
say this. So you're talking though the way we were raised, right?
Yes.
And it was a demand on success. It
Yes.
was a demand to be great. It was not like you said, I think earlier about being mediocre.
That's
To give these. I was an athlete, so I don't understand. I understand first, second, and third, right? You hit the
right.
stand. I get that, but they giving people that finished 88th. Oh, here's
Yep.
your medal. What? 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 What do you mean? No,
I wrote
you
an article.
celebrating?
I'm
Huh?
sorry. I wrote an
Oh no, go
article.
ahead.
I wrote an
Hmm.
article and it's titled "Everybody Doesn't Deserve a Blue Ribbon." That's the
That's that.
title of my article. And it goes to what you said. I'll never forget. I was doing some research and I came across this article where this lady was giving a birthday party to her child when her child learned how to use the potty. And I said, wait, hold on. If we giving awards for that, what do you have to look forward to? And that's what's important to me that we're missing now. We are not expecting people to reach the highest of the heights, and we're recognizing. And listen, I don't believe that people should not have an opportunity for success.
That's
But
right.
now I'm seeing we're just giving people because when as a cheerleader, you had to try out. Everybody didn't make the
Right.
team. Now I see we got cheerleading squads with 40 young ladies and men. And I'm saying, wait, I'm sorry, that little boy is just not that good. Or that little girl is just not that good. That doesn't
That's right.
mean that something is wrong with me saying that. Let me tell you what the problem is. We're not finding the place for those young people.
That's correct.
There's a place for those two young people to do something else. And that's where the nurturing comes in. That's
That's
where
correct.
someone should say, I know you want to be a cheerleader, but let's see what your talents are to put you in a place where you can be great, because we're not spending the time to make them great. We're just saying we don't want to diminish their spirit by telling them no. No is the most powerful word we can ever use, and we're not using it enough. We need to use the word no more.
I think we're not using it properly too.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah. So that being said, you go into this energy you have as a mother, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And what I mean by that is a lot of times people think you birth 50 children and that makes you a mother. That does not make you, let me make sure my mic on. That does not make you a mother.
Mhm,
But you have that nurturing
mhm,
part of you that you demand greatness, but you're going to love on
mhm.
those children. So, in all of the children that you've birthed, whether it's natural or otherwise, how did you demand greatness, but at the same time, didn't push them away to make them feel they were a failure?
So I have never birthed a child.
Okay.
I was not blessed, but I knew that. I knew that that was not a part of my life. I did not want to
Hmm.
have a child that I birthed, but I've been mothering students,
Yes.
my two nieces, my goddaughter, friends' kids. I'm everybody's godmother. Like I
Hmm.
have two nieces, Shayna and Shelby. They're my brother's daughters. They're like my children. My goddaughter Jasha, she's like my child. My goddaughter Jasha has three roommates. They call me godmom. Her friends call me godmom. And that's because they see me for who I am and they say, let me pay attention. So the first thing you have
Yes.
to do is you have to be a mirror. You have to be
Ooh.
able to not only see yourself, but see yourself as others will see you. So I'm
Yes.
very careful of how I dress around them, the things that I say around them, my attitude around them. I'm very careful. Am I perfect? Of course not. But they don't hold me accountable for my imperfections. So that's one thing. I watch who I am around them. And then two, I listen to them, because sometimes
Mm.
we believe that children should not be listened to. And
That's
I
right.
listen to them and I hear them and I have conversations with them at their level, but I do listen to them, and I don't speak at them, I talk with them.
With them. That's right.
And then also, once I watch what I do and I listen to them, I also give them solutions to help them to see. And what I don't say is, well, when I was your age, I don't say that. It's a
Right.
totally different environment now. Social media, if we had social media when I was at Southern, oh my goodness. I don't know. I
I
look
don't
at
know.
what they have to go through now with social media and everybody's video and everything, it's critically detrimental to the spirit of a person that you can't grow out of your immature self. That's how I see social media. I'm just going to be honest, because the
That makes
mistakes
sense.
that are being made are shown on social media. So I do speak to them about those things. I don't talk at them. I give them insight on those aspects of life that they can't take away. So they listen. But what's most important about mothering is
Hmm.
demonstrating that people are watching you.
That's right. So it goes into from that modeling and what do I have on there? Modeling versus doing, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
you model, but you don't do for them,
that's
for
right.
your kids.
That's
You
right.
model.
That's
This
right.
is what it looks like.
That's right.
And you don't beat them up if they make a mistake,
No,
but you nurture them back to modeling
that's right.
instead of doing. I
That's
think
right.
a lot of times, how do you feel about these mothers that always want to do stuff? You know, they go Let me fill out the paperwork. Let me talk to the guy. Let me do this. I remember I had a conversation with a friend of mine out of Charlotte, and she was just there and it was applying for a scholarship. Well, the mother kept talking, and then finally she was like, "Ma'am, I don't mean no harm, no disrespect, but you didn't got your degrees. This is for your child. Can you please go stand over there so I can have a conversation with your child?"
We call it the helicopter mother.
Mm-hmm.
What happens? So I have to say the pros and the cons. What happens is
Mm-hmm.
that we know what the world is, so we want to protect. And we believe that protection means stopping them from having the experience. My
Yes.
dad used to, this is my dad's favorite saying to me, and I so appreciate it now. I'm going to throw you in that water, but I'm not going to let you drown.
Oh, that's
And
good.
I couldn't understand it, but I get it now. Meaning, I'm going to throw you in that water. I'm going to watch you learn how to swim. I'm going to watch you figure it out. I'm going to watch you be a part of the process. But if I see you going under, I'm going to pick you up and I'm going to help you. But I got to let you get to that point. I'm not going to let you drown. And so, even with my nieces and my nephews and my goddaughter didn't know how to write out a check because they don't,
Mm,
that's not something that's going on right now because she
that's
needed a
right.
money order. So I was like, you've never written a check. I get it. You've never written a money order. I get it. But you have something that's different from what I have. You have the power of this thing called the internet. Look it up, figure it
Mm-hmm.
out. And if you mess it up, you're going to get another one. If you mess it up, they tell you what to do if you mess it up. And she said, but I have her where she says, thank you, and not, why you can't just do it. I've trained her to know that anything that I do, I'm always going to be there for her in the process. So when she went to look it up, we did it together. I didn't do it for her. So when she was about to make a mistake, I stopped her and said, go look up what you were about to do and figure out where you were going to make that mistake before she did
Mm-hmm.
it. Because I know this is money. It's not like an application
Right.
she could have printed out and redid
Right.
it. And so that's important. And she appreciates that, and so that's the thing that we have to do. We have to do problem solving by allowing them to see the problem and solve it instead of solving the problem for them, because they'll keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back. And you're not going to always be able to come back.
That's right. And then when you get in that street, if you will, or when you go to University of X or whatever
That's
you're
right.
doing, and we're not there,
That's
now
right.
it's a deer in the headlight. They
That's
can't
right.
problem solve. They can't figure it out. And I think a lot of kids, like you said, whether it's social media, whether it's the gaming, nobody don't want to go outside, all of these other things, it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? But I'm
Yeah.
not gonna get into that.
Yeah.
I
You're
wanna
right.
there's two things I want to talk to you about.
Sure.
Two more couple other things. Um Talk about, well, let me add a third thing. Did you do anything in law in terms of professional sports?
Yes, I did. So I worked with the Minnesota Vikings. I worked with ProServe, which was a
Hmm.
sports and entertainment law firm. I did a lot because I do contract work. And
Okay.
so I did a lot with those two organizations. I did a lot of contract work with them. I love that aspect. Again, this is Women's History Month. We are
That's right.
supporting women. Women now in the field of sports on both sides, be it coaching, officiating, sports agents. I am so grateful that we have finally seen the vision of how important it is to be diverse in every aspect of sports, entertainment, law, business, etc. Because when I was doing it, if you were a family member of an owner or a coach, then you had that opportunity. But just coming into the field, it was hard. My ex-husband was a professional football coach, and that's how I got involved with it. But again, that's how I got involved. I still had to be great.
You
And
had to
so
produce.
when the collective bargaining agreement was first implemented in the NFL, that was
Uh-huh.
my expertise. And so with the Minnesota Vikings, with the Arizona Cardinals, with those teams, I was one of those individuals that really worked extremely hard with that understanding of the CBA. And I did it with them but as an independent contractor. So they came to
Yes.
me for advice. I was on their payroll because I don't do anything for free. That's not true. I do things for free. Yeah, I do.
I'm
I do
tell
things for
you,
free. That's not
boy,
true.
I tell you, that's that lawyer side coming out.
But the big stuff I don't do for
Billable
free.
hours,
Yeah,
billable
yeah.
hours.
That's because I work hard. I got to do research. That's time. Time is money.
Time is
And
definitely money
so
for that's
you
for
should
sure.
you should get paid for your worth. Everybody out there, get paid for your worth and your greatness.
Say that again.
And get paid for your work and your greatness so that you can do pro bono work for those who deserve it. That's my mantra. So I do things for free for the people
You know,
that
you dropping
deserve.
these jewels. You keep dropping these jewels out. You dropping these. No, but that's great. I wanted to ask that because again, we talk about celebrating
Yeah,
women,
yeah.
right? This is not I hate men or I
And we're
love.
often
It's not.
overworked and underpaid now. We are often
What is it?
overworked and
74.
underpaid.
What is it? 74 cents of every
Yes,
dollar to a
yes,
man. And
yes.
then as the African American lady
Take
is
10,
even
15
cheaper.
more cents off of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And yet you produce more.
yes. And let me
If
tell
I'm
you
not
why.
mistaken.
But
Go
let
ahead.
me tell you why we produce more. We produce more because that's who we are, right?
Hmm.
We, as I just said, we are taught that we have to work hard. And this is just women in general, but I can only speak as a Black woman.
Hmm.
We are taught to work hard because we have to. We're taught because we got to take care of business. And so taking care of business means that we can't be laxed. So we will accept less because we feel like we have to. I'm telling you now, I'm not accepting less, but that's where my EQ in the law of attraction comes in for my ability to not accept less.
Stay
Not
in
because,
that vein. Stay in
yeah,
that vein.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So with EQ, right, with emotional intelligence, it's self-awareness, empathy, and compassion. Those are the three tenets of emotional intelligence. Self-awareness is not selfish, but being aware of yourself to the point where you recognize what you deserve. Also,
Hmm.
too, being self-aware, I can put myself into the shoes of others through empathy. So it's what EQ says is it's not the intent, but the impact. So I
Yeah.
used to be a justifier, right? If I kicked
Hmm.
you and I, stepped over a rock and kicked you, it was like, well, what you cried for? I mean, I ain't meaning to do it. Come on now, suck it up. That's intent. I didn't intend to do it. But the impact is that you still hurt. How dare me? How dare me not have empathy for what you're going through? It changed
Hmm.
my life. Recognizing emotional intelligence and how it can affect your relationships, both professionally and personally, it changed my life. I
Mm.
make sure that I recognize the ways of other people when I look at myself. So when I'm self-aware and I see myself, because I asked a friend of mine one time, do you see yourself? And oh, she was like, what you mean? I don't see myself. And what you talking about? And I was like, oh, asked the wrong question. Well, I see myself. So that's what I
Hmm.
mean when I say I'm no longer a liar. And what I mean by that is I was a chameleon. I adapted to my surroundings. So if you were happy, I was happy. If you were sad, I was sad. That means I
Yeah.
was lying to myself about who I am as an individual in that moment. My
Whew.
now, my now sense of self-awareness is you are going to see me for who I am, but I've worked on who I am. So what you see is amazing. So when I walk into a room and I'm smiling, it is not fake. I'm happy.
Yes.
And that's what I project because I do not see negative. I only see positive. And because I see positive, I don't take anything personal. If somebody talking to me a particular kind of way, I would be ready to pop off because I don't know who you think you talking to. I ain't do you nothing, all of that. But what I now see is in positive, maybe I was put in this place to help this person to see something differently. So my mother used to always say, you never know what somebody is going through. Your
Yes.
energy is so strong that your energy can change a room.
That's
So
right.
do not allow anyone to take you outside of your space. And who do you want to be? So I really worked hard on myself. I did. I took 3 years and I
Mm, that's good.
decided, who am I going to be? I felt I was at my lowest, and I couldn't understand why everybody else I felt was winning, why everybody
Yeah.
else around me I felt was getting what they deserved, and why wasn't I? And I was a law professor. I was doing
Hmm.
well, but I was not happy. And I can honestly say today, what is it, March 14th, I am the happiest person you ever want to meet because I see positive and not negative. And I
Right.
believe that everything happens when it's supposed to. We were supposed to do this today, no other day. We were supposed to do this podcast today so that I can give experiences in my life up to this moment that would have been different 2 weeks ago than it was just yesterday. And so that's very important for me to always be in the space of emotional intelligence, in that same space that I am with my IQ. My EQ is just as high, and I love it. I do. I love me. I do.
What was it? Because I want to talk, because it's going into some of these questions that we've been talking about, but what is it that created that monster, that the beautiful monster? I ain't talking about the negative side, but
Mhm,
that beautiful monster to say, you know what, I'm about to take this world over.
mhm,
I'm not going to do on anybody. I'm not
mhm.
going to push anybody away, all that stuff. But I am going to get mine because of who I've been created to be. What was that, if it is, that
Mhm.
one thing that said, you know what, Stanley, I'm about to get this thing. Like let's go get it. What was that one thing for you?
At the tip of that 3 year period, everything to me was failing. My marriage, my
Yeah,
job.
go ahead.
And don't get me
Uh-huh.
wrong, it was because I was growing, right?
That's right.
I was
Yep.
growing.
Say that
Everything was,
again.
yeah, I was growing in the process of it. I was growing. And so in growing, I had to change my thought process. So in growth comes the bottom of the barrel. Because when you're growing, guess what? That's when you're at the bottom. And that's when you should be like, oh, this is great. But we don't know that unless somebody with experience tells us that. So I stretched out. I stretched
Hmm.
out on the carpet and I went back
Yeah.
to my faith. And I said, God,
Yes.
I've been trying to do this on my own. I need you to show me the way. And God says, stop lying.
Mm. Ooh wee.
So what it does
Ooh
is
wee.
it makes you see who you are. Because we all got that thing, right? No matter what
Ooh,
it
we
is,
got that thing.
we have that thing. I wake up in the middle of the night and I eat too much. That's your thing. I gamble, but I gamble too much. That's your thing. Because I believe everything can be done in moderation. If you
Yeah.
like to go to the casino, it's legal. Do it in moderation. Don't do it where your bills can't get paid, right?
Right. That's
If you
right.
want to go to the club every Friday because you worked your behind off Monday through Thursday, do it. But don't spend your bill money because you want to buy up the bar. I'm just saying that there's a space, a time, and a moderation for everything. And I now live my life in balance. And
Hmm.
because of that balance, nothing that I do is mediocre, negative, and I don't think about it. And it's just what it is. So I had to stretch out. And when I stretched out, I started doing the work. So it's my faith and my work. My faith, of course, is I am a Baptist, I am Christian. My work is EQ and the law of attraction together because the Bible says that faith without work is dead.
That's right. That's right.
And the Bible
So you
also
talking?
says, speak that which you desire. I don't quote the Bible because
Hmm.
I don't know the Bible, but I know the Bible.
Right.
When it says speak life, not death, that means
You
speak
speak
life
life, not
over
death.
yourself. And I
Right.
speak life over myself. And it doesn't necessarily mean the grave. It means being dead on this earth, meaning you're sad, you're unhappy, you don't have no money. See, people think that God don't want us to be prosperous. God wants us to be prosperous because how can we tithe and give an offering if we're not prosperous? I
That's
could,
absolutely
you know,
right. We have to be able to, but as you're saying, moving into that, let's move into your spiritual side, right?
okay.
Because now you're talking and you're going into a vein. So we talked about the EQ, we talked about your business, we talk about you being a mom, but I think this is the biggest part of your spirituality side, because I think your spirit is the thing that really puts you over, in my opinion, over the top. Not just being an attorney, not just doing all of these cases and all of that stuff, but your spirituality. How did you merge those two? How do you merge those two?
Well, again, as a child, what they say, you raise up
Mhm.
a child in the way that she shall go. You know, my
That's right.
parents made us go to Sunday school. Whether I didn't know what they was talking about, we went to Sunday school. We
Right.
had to go to vacation Bible school. I learned the books of the
Mm.
Bible. I was the one who was in the Christmas play. You know, I did the
Right.
welcome. We gonna have Chantrice Williams. That's what my pastor would always say. He never say Chandrea Patrice. We gonna have Chantrice Williams to give the welcome, just out the pew, not anything that was prepared for, just out the
Right.
pew. Oh, look at Tree. She home from college. Come up here, girl, and give the welcome. So we were made to do those things. Those teachings are still with me right now,
That's powerful.
right? And
Yeah.
so my spirituality is from birth, from my parents. My spirituality is a part of my life. So
Mhm.
the nice person that I am is because God says you got to treat people the way that you want to be treated. So if I want to be
Right.
treated nice, be nice, or I'll walk away.
That's right.
So my spiritual part, I can't be Chandrea Patrice Williams without my spiritual part. That's a part of who I am.
Mhm.
So that is a reflection of my nature and my nurture, because I've also been around people who were mentors, who were spiritual. Because you all like even when you're in college and you go, you go out of the state to go to school, right? Nothing like coming home. There's nothing
Yeah.
like coming home. Home for me is spirituality. When you're at that place, there's nothing like going home. I go home to the spirit.
Man, man, you girl, you about to make me shout over here. We about to go off in tongues or something. Wait, I gotta say this though. This is powerful. We can talk about this
Yeah.
for whatever. So when you talking about that, talking about coming home, right? And I want to specifically go into this just for a moment. We're gonna touch it,
Sure.
and
Sure.
we'll do a part two or something, but we just gonna touch it, right?
Okay.
And you talking about the emotional intelligence and you combining that with your spirituality, right?
Right.
And like you said, the application of it, you're doing something. You actually going and putting in the work. You're not just saying all of this and then you don't do anything. Here is something I want to ask because you talk about coming home. Your spirituality is you coming home, right? In a relationship, again, whether it's business or whether it's personal, in that relationship, and you talking about coming home, I think a lot of times people miss that piece in the relationship about coming home. Do you believe, or is there a way that you can shout out and talk to some of the, not just ladies, but this one is on everybody? How do you actually come home to that, whether it's that business or whether it's that male or that female that you're dating, you're married, engaged to, and that you actually come home? How do you put all of that together so you can have that beautiful relationship that we read about in Corinthians? Yeah,
Yeah.
I went there with you. I
No,
went there.
no,
I went to
you're
I
good.
went to Bible,
It's
class
about a
too.
choice. It's about a choice. You come home. Coming home is a choice. First of all, you got to define what home is, right?
Yes.
And so home, like all the sayings, home is where the heart is. Home is love. Home is peace. Home is hard work. You got to decide what home is. So home in the atmosphere of business is that what you give the most work to. It's what you want to
Mm.
be successful. Relationships. Home is where you have peace. Because
Ooh, ooh.
because there's a shirt and I bought it. Don't disturb my peace.
Right.
And a friend of mine said that shirt don't make sense. And I was like, what you mean don't make sense? How dare you? But when she broke
Hmm.
it down, she said, when you have peace, nothing can disturb it. I said, oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
That's the truth. So when you have peace, nothing can disturb it. So I have peace. That's why I say positive, not negative, right?
Uh-huh.
So you first have to decide what home is. Then
Yes.
when you're the people around you in that space, you have to be evenly yoked. You got to be evenly yoked mentally,
Yes,
physically,
ma'am.
emotionally, spiritually. Sorry, an atheist and a Christian can't be in a relationship. It'll never
Right.
happen.
That's right.
It will never happen. There's always going to be a battle, and you cannot change anyone. People have to change themselves. So
Correct.
what I now do is I don't take every case. Remember, we were talking. I say
That's
I
right.
only take certain cases because I have that right. Because I have to believe in it. I have to put my emotions in it. I have to do hard work in it, and it has to be home to me. So
Yeah.
I'm not in a relationship with everybody. I don't go
Mm-hmm.
to everybody's church. I don't ha-
Preach.
I don't call everybody a friend. I don't call everybody my relative. I don't call
Right.
That's just not who I'm going to be, because when I speak this thing, I believe in this thing. And believing in it means I'm going to work in it. So you got to know what it is. You got to surround yourself around people who are evenly yoked in that. And you cannot expect everybody to be you. My daddy would say it all the time. Everybody not like you now. So your
That's
frustration,
right.
you got to watch it. So because of that, my expectation is I take people for who they are.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Closing out, I
Yeah.
want to ask you this question because I believe in mentorship, and
Yeah.
I see you believe in mentorship as well. Because of our affiliation with what is Delta, what is Alpha, what is
Mhm.
Omega, what is Kappa, and so on. We get all of that and we do those things, but you have it for real.
Yeah.
Because some people, you know this, you've been in the sorority, let me make sure, 34 years. So then we keep it a buck, right? So
Right.
you've been in there for a minute, I've been in there for a minute. We doing our thing, got all of that stuff. That's cool. But we also understand some people just do it for surface to be
Right.
seen. We
Right.
get that. But I'm asking you today, Patrice,
Mhm.
talk to those young men, those young ladies, those older men, those older ladies, those babies that are listening
Mhm.
around the world that may be struggling with finding their own personal power.
Yeah.
Because I can feel it coming from you,
Yeah.
but they may be struggling with that personal power. So, how do we help them? And just a quick snippet to elevate themselves to find that personal power because they may be going through something at their house, marriage, divorce, not happy, hate their job,
Yeah.
crazy, all this other stuff going on. But how do you help them elevate their personal power?
Yeah, let me say this. And I always think very critically, and I think spiritually, and I think about myself before I answer such serious questions, because that's a very serious question, because now we have to look at ourselves. And what I say to everybody who is listening is that believe that you deserve it. See, we don't think we deserve it. We don't think we
Yes.
deserve to be okay, because I didn't. My mother died in the year 2000 at 49 years old in my arms. She had cancer.
Mm,
She died in my arms. Eloise Alberta Brown Williams, who was my best friend. She was my everything. I didn't have friends. I didn't need them. I had her.
mm-hmm.
When she passed away, I did not believe I deserved happiness. I didn't
Yes.
believe I deserved it. And because of that, I walked in despair.
Mm-hmm.
The moment that she came to me and said to me, "How dare you dishonor who I've made you to be, that God has made you to be? Get it together, girl." So I
Yes.
then had to decide who I wanted to be and who
Mm-hmm.
I deserved to be. So I started caring about me. That's what we have to do it. So how do we get there? Some of us do need to seek therapy. We do. Some of us
That's right.
let me say this, the right therapy with
That, don't get me started on that.
with the right
That's right.
individual at the right time during
That's
the
right.
right purpose. It all
That's
has
right.
to align. Therapy would
Yes.
not have done anything for me in 2000 because I wasn't there. I wasn't ready. I would not have been able to listen.
Right.
Right. So that's a part of my work, my therapeutic work.
That's right.
So we have to decide how to get there. And how to
Uh-huh.
get there is surrounding ourselves by people like us, like me and you, Stanley, who have been through
Yes.
things. So that means that
Mm-hmm.
I have to have a young ladies group that I talk to, because those young
Right.
ladies are going to be wives. They're going to be girlfriends. The young men are going to be boyfriends. They're going to be husbands, or they're going to be single around people they work with, and they're going to
Right.
be vessels. So when
That's
you're
right.
a vessel, you're going to spew out who you are.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I mean when I say decide who we want to be, embrace the greatness,
Embrace it.
decide that it's okay to be nice, to be wealthy in every way,
Right.
to be healthy in every way, to do what you desire to do for the benefit of yourself and others. Decide that it's okay to be great, and then do the work. And that work
I
means
love it.
research. Yeah, do the work.
I love it. I love it.
Do the work.
Well, Patrice Williams, attorney
Chandrea
ex.
Patrice
Oh, I'm
Williams.
sorry. Let me.
Don't take my
Chandrea.
daddy.
Oh,
His name is Shan. Chandrea Patrice Williams.
Chandrea Patrice Williams, attorney extraordinaire.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Stanley.
Thank you. Thank you. But
Uh-huh.
listen, before we close out, you
Mhm.
gotta shout me out. Yeah, I did shout you out early. You gotta shout me out. Don't roll your eyes. Don't do all of that stuff.
I'm
So
not.
I'm gonna shout you out first, and
People
then
would
you
have
gotta
never
shout me out.
believed. So people would never believe that I've not known you that long. But when I met you, and your attitude and your spirit was so infectious, and you said to me, I want you to do a podcast. And you notice I said the most important word in my life now is no. I said yes because I meant it. And I'm so
That's right.
grateful for you and everything that you're doing in your professional and your personal life, from your health to your family, to your daughter, to everything. I'm so grateful to have met you. You're light skinned, but that's all right. Your curly hair, I get it. You know, I told you I'm
Don't
a
start.
jokester. I'm a jokester now. But no, in all seriousness, keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate you. You are saying some of the greatest things that anyone wants to hear to the world, not just to the country, to the world. And I'm so grateful that you invited me here, and I'm humble that I am here, and I live in Humble, Texas, so I picked the right city to live in.
Humble,
Um,
Texas.
Humble,
That's where
Texas.
the wealthy people live at. If y'all didn't know, that's
There
where
we
them
go.
wealthy folks live at. Right next to it is Prosper, Texas. Yeah, don't get me started.
So I am grateful to be here, and thank you so much for who you are and for allowing me to be who I am. So thank you
I'm
very
absolutely humbled. Listen, before we get out of here though, you got to give me the New Orleans shout, because I'm gonna shout you out. You gonna shout me back out?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
come on.
shout you
You
back
ready?
out. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Why?
Wait, I couldn't hear you. Come on, go ahead.
Come on now. Why?
Why?
You fired. You.
I'm not from New Orleans. I keep telling you that. I'm from Gretna, but I take direction well. Tell me what to say, and I'm gonna say it. Go ahead. What I gotta say?
Wow. That's it. That's it.
Okay, so let's do it again.
Wow.
Why? That's how you do
No, nope. We done.
it. Wait, no. Wait, no.
We done. We are done.
I
So
thought
everybody that's out there,
wait, I thought
that's
you was
this.
gonna ask me to say what's happening, or Woody, or
Yeah,
something like that. Or
yeah. You no. Nope. We done. We done here. Listen, listen. Chandrea Patrice Williams, professor.
why?
There you go. That's so much better. Listen, my friend, my sister, my Southernite, I truly appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for taking some time to spend on Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. The amount of gems and jewels that you have dropped, I know this is going to be one of the hottest podcasts that we've done, and it is just absolutely amazing. You know what? We got to do a part two. We're gonna
Okay.
talk about some things, and we'll do a part two because of what you have shared with the audience and how you've done it has been extraordinary.
Oh,
And the
thank you.
inspiration that you've got given to older women as young as well as these young ladies that's coming out as an attorney, as being in the sports world and
Oh,
doing
yeah.
some of the things. Man, listen, we gonna get into it. I
I'm
know you've done
glad.
the CBA and all that other stuff, but I listen. I got some people I want you to talk to anyway, so
Oh,
I
thank
cannot
you.
wait. So I love you, sis. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. For everybody that's logging in and listening, make sure you go to all of our social media channels.
Wait,
I
no,
didn't
hold
forget you.
on. I
Oh,
gotta
I
say
didn't. I
this.
didn't forget you. Oh,
No,
go
oh
ahead.
no, you did. I
Go
gotta
ahead.
give
I
a
didn't forget.
plug out. Now you know I
I
am the
didn't forget you.
2024 Lady Shot of the Zulu Social Aid and Pleasure Club, and my brother Shan Patrick Williams Jr. is the Big Shot 2024. Don't do that now. All the people from New Orleans and
Oh,
around who know
uh,
about Zulu now. Don't give me my props.
listen. You got your props. You got your props now.
Yeah.
Le- Um, so, but also, what I was going to
Yep.
say after I did the commercial, but let me just do it now, is make sure you, how do we get in touch with you? How do we
Okay.
actually, for all of those people that want you to come speak, want you to
Mhm.
come mentor, come talk to some of the kids? I mean, there's so much value you bring to the table. So share it with everybody, what you want them to know so they can
Sure.
book you, grab you, however you want to do it.
So I don't have any social media. But
Mm-hmm.
my business information is my email. You can reach me and I'll say it slow. It's spwesq1995 at gmail.com. So that's spwe as in Edward, S as in Sam, Q as in Queen, 1995 at gmail.com.
Well, if you want to book this powerful speaker, obviously she's created a whole bunch of articles and have done some amazing things, whether it's on the sports side, whether it's in the legal side, or whether it's just in the community. Go ahead and get at her and make sure you do it. It's SPWEQ
ESQ
ESQ
1995.
1995 at gmail.com. SPW ESQ 1995 at gmail.com. Go ahead and send her a message. Say you want to book her and do all of those things and make it happen. She's going to be a powerful speaker in her own right. So, with that being said, I love y'all, family. Y'all know how to get at me. Go to Let's Talk with StanleyDoucette.com. Like, subscribe, share, donate. Send an email to me if you want me to speak as well. You put us both on a panel. It
Oh,
is
yeah.
going to, ooh, wee. All right. So I love y'all. Talk with y'all next week on Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. That being said, we out.
Bye.
Peace.